Hey, 49ers faithful. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates on our beloved San Francisco 49ers. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit that like button. This way, you'll never miss any breaking news or exciting updates about the Niners. The whispers started quietly, the kind that usually float around practice fields and late-night group chats. But they grew louder the moment the San Francisco 49ers name was connected to Patrick Surtain II. From a YouTuber's perspective, this is the type of rumor that makes you lean forward in your chair, lower your voice just a bit, and tell the audience that something big might be happening behind the scenes. People around the league have been hinting that the 49ers were searching for a move that could instantly change the personality of their secondary. Not just improve it, but redefine how opponents even think about throwing the football against them. The idea of Surtain landing in that defensive ecosystem feels almost too perfect, which is exactly why fans are letting their imaginations run wild. This is not about a single player joining a roster. This is about a potential shift in identity, where coverage confidence becomes a weapon instead of concern. The rumors suggest conversations that feel ambitious, bold, and very on brand for an organization that believes its championship window is wide open. When a name like Surtain is mentioned, the discussion immediately jumps from depth charts to fear factors, because quarterbacks prepare differently when they believe one side of the field is essentially closed for business. That is the kind of immediate psychological edge people believe the 49ers could be chasing right now. If this move truly materializes, the immediate impact on the secondary would be impossible to ignore, and that is where the speculation becomes almost cinematic. Imagine a defensive backfield that already plays with speed and aggression, suddenly adding a corner who thrives on discipline, timing, and physical confidence. Surtain is often described as a player who does not panic, who waits for the moment to strike, and that quality alone could elevate everyone around him. Corners would feel less isolated, safeties could disguise looks more freely, and the entire coverage unit could play a fraction of a second faster simply because trust is present. In YouTube rumor talk, this is what people mean when they say a defense feeds off one elite presence. The 49ers are known for turning good defenders into great ones through scheme and culture, and the belief is that Surtain could become the centerpiece that allows the secondary to dictate terms instead of reacting. Practices would become more competitive, receivers would be challenged every snap, and that iron sharpens iron mentality would spill into game preparation. Even if nothing is officially confirmed, the mere possibility has already changed the tone of conversations around the team, and that alone tells you how powerful this rumor feels. Another layer of this speculation revolves around how seamlessly Surtain's style could blend with the defensive philosophy already in place. The 49ers love versatility, players who can disguise intentions and adjust on the fly, and Surtain has built a reputation as someone who studies tendencies like a veteran chess player. The rumor mill suggests that coaches envision him not just as a lockdown corner, but as a movable piece who can follow elite receivers, press at the line, or sink into zones with equal confidence. That kind of flexibility could unlock pages of the playbook that are currently used sparingly. For a YouTube audience, this is where excitement really builds, because fans start picturing specific matchups and moments where the defense suddenly looks one step ahead. It becomes less about surviving drives and more about setting traps. The idea that Surtain could communicate coverages, calm younger players, and take away the opposing offense's first read is intoxicating. This is the sort of addition that makes defensive meetings more detailed and offensive meetings more stressful. Even as a rumor, it suggests a shift toward dominance through intelligence and technique, not just raw athleticism, and that narrative fits perfectly with how the 49ers want to be perceived around the league. The locker room implications are another fascinating angle that people are dissecting with enthusiasm. When a player with Surtain's reputation potentially walks into a room already filled with strong personalities, the chemistry question naturally arises. But most believe it would be a positive chain reaction. This is not a loud, disruptive presence, but a quiet standard setter, the kind of player whose preparation habits speak louder than words. Rumors hint that defensive leaders would welcome him as an equal, not as an outsider, because his game reflects accountability and consistency. Younger defensive backs would likely gravitate toward him, soaking up details about footwork, film study, and situational awareness. From a narrative standpoint, YouTubers love this part because it humanizes the move. It stops being just about talent and starts being about influence. The 49ers have built a culture around competition and mutual respect, and Surtain's rumored arrival feels like it would reinforce that culture rather than test it. The belief is that his presence could quietly raise the floor of the entire secondary, not through speeches, but through example. That is often how championship-level defenses are built, one unspoken expectation at a time, and fans are clearly buying into that possibility. The ripple effects of this rumored move stretch far beyond the defensive backfield, and that is where speculation really gets creative. Offensive players in practice would face a new level of challenge, forcing sharper routes and quicker decisions. Quarterbacks would need to be more precise, knowing that mistakes against a corner like Surtain tend to turn into momentum-swinging plays. Coaches might adjust practice scripts, emphasizing ball security and route discipline even more heavily. In the broader league context, opposing teams would be forced to rethink game plans, possibly shifting resources to avoid one side of the field altogether. This is the kind of rumor that changes scouting reports before anything is official. Fans imagine analysts on television talking about how the 49ers suddenly match up better against elite passing attacks. Even special teams discussions subtly change when a defense is expected to generate shorter fields through turnovers or coverage dominance. All of this from a single speculative move, which shows how transformative Surtain's name alone can be. It is not exaggeration. It is acknowledgement of how rare true shutdown corners are and how dramatically they can alter the balance of a team's strengths and weaknesses. As the buzz continues, it is impossible to ignore how this rumor fits into the larger narrative of the 49ers chasing the ultimate prize. Every season feels like a balancing act between patience and aggression, and adding a player like Surtain would signal confidence in the current core. From a YouTube storytelling angle, this feels like the kind of move franchises make when they believe the moment is now. The speculation paints a picture of calculated risk, of pushing chips toward the center while the window is open. Fans debate whether this is the missing piece, the final adjustment that turns heartbreak into celebration. Even skeptics admit that if this rumor holds any truth, it represents a statement of intent. The 49ers will be telling the league that they're not content with being good or even great, but are aiming to be suffocating on defense. Whether or not the announcement becomes reality, the conversation itself has already energized the fan base, and in sports, that emotional momentum often mirrors what teams feel internally. This is why the Surtain rumor refuses to fade, because it speaks directly to belief, ambition, and the idea that one bold move can tilt an entire season's narrative. Now, shifting into the second part of this unfolding story, the conversation naturally turns toward how opponents might react if Patrick Surtain II truly dons the colors of the San Francisco 49ers. From a YouTuber's lens, this is where the chess match aspect of football really shines. Offensive coordinators across the league would spend sleepless nights adjusting concepts, debating whether to challenge him or avoid him altogether. Some might test him early, hoping to establish confidence, while others would design routes meant to pull him away from primary reads. The rumor suggests that simply having Surtain on the field could compress playbooks, forcing offenses to simplify rather than expand. That is an enormous strategic win before the ball is even snapped. Receivers would circle matchups weeks in advance, knowing that beating Surtain would require near-perfect execution. This kind of anticipation changes how teams practice, how quarterbacks communicate, and how risk is calculated on critical downs. The 49ers, already known for defensive adaptability, would gain another lever to pull, another way to dictate tempo. Even if this remains speculation, the mental exercise alone highlights why this rumor has captured so much attention, because it paints a picture of a defense that forces others to react rather than act. Another major layer involves the coaching staff and how they could evolve their approach with a player of Surtain's caliber. Rumors swirling around the team suggest that coaches see him as a catalyst for creativity, not a constraint. When trust and coverage increases, blitz packages can become more exotic, pressure looks more deceptive, and situational football more aggressive. For YouTube audiences, this translates into exciting breakdowns, freeze frames, and moments where a quarterback hesitates just long enough for the pass rush to arrive. The speculation hints that Surtain's football intelligence could allow the defense to disguise intentions until the very last second, a nightmare scenario for any offense. This is not about gambling recklessly, but about calculated pressure backed by elite coverage. The 49ers have historically thrived when their defense plays with confidence and clarity, and adding a cornerstone corner could sharpen both. Coaches could tailor game plans around matchups rather than hiding weaknesses, which is often the difference between good defenses and dominant ones. Even as a rumor, it suggests an evolution, a defense taking the next step by trusting its personnel at the highest level. The fan reaction component of this story cannot be overstated, because rumors like this thrive on emotion and imagination. Social media conversations have reportedly exploded with hypothetical lineups, jersey concepts, and bold predictions. From a narrative standpoint, this is fuel for endless YouTube content, because every fan sees a different version of the future. Some imagine highlight plays, others imagine leadership moments, and some simply imagine the relief of not worrying about certain matchups anymore. The rumor taps into a collective desire for security on the back end of the defense, something fans have debated for years. When Surtain's name enters that discussion, it feels like an answer to long-standing questions. Even cautious fans find themselves dreaming, because the fit feels logical, not forced. This emotional buy-in is part of what makes sports rumors so powerful. They allow fans to experience hope, excitement, and debate all at once, long before any official confirmation exists. In that sense, the Surtain speculation has already succeeded in uniting and energizing the fan base around a shared vision of what could be. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. There's also the broader league narrative to consider, because moves of this magnitude rarely exist in a vacuum. Other teams would take notice, not just because of the player involved, but because of what it signals about the 49ers' intentions. Rumors suggest rival teams might accelerate their own plans, exploring counter moves or re-evaluating divisional strategies. The presence of Surtain in that defensive system could shift power dynamics, especially in matchups that already feel like battles of inches and moments. Analysts would debate whether this creates a new defensive benchmark, a standard others must chase. From a YouTube storytelling angle, this expands the story beyond one team, turning it into a league-wide ripple effect. The 49ers would not just be improving themselves, they would be forcing others to respond. That is often the mark of a truly impactful move, one that reshapes conversations and expectations across the sport. Even in rumor form, the idea carries weight because it challenges the status quo and hints at a new hierarchy forming. Speculation also naturally drifts toward the long-term implications of such a move beyond immediate impact. Fans and analysts alike wonder how Surtain's presence could influence future roster decisions, draft priorities, and developmental plans. The rumor suggests a defense built around stability at a premium position, allowing younger players to grow without being thrown into the fire too early. This kind of foresight is often praised in hindsight, but debated intensely in the moment. From a YouTube perspective, this creates rich storytelling, connecting present excitement to future sustainability. The 49ers have often been described as a team that balances now and later, and adding a cornerstone corner fits that philosophy. It implies belief in continuity, in building around proven excellence rather than constant patchwork solutions. Even if the rumor remains just that, It reflects how fans want the team to think strategically and confidently, with an eye toward lasting success rather than short-term fixes. As the speculation continues to swirl, the final takeaway is not about confirmation, but about possibility. Patrick Surtain, the second link to the San Francisco 49ers, has become a symbol of ambition, of a franchise willing to imagine itself at its very best. From a YouTuber's narrative voice, this is the kind of story that keeps audiences coming back, not because it is settled, but because it is alive. Every new whisper adds a layer. Every debate sharpens opinions, and every imagined scenario fuels excitement. Whether this rumor becomes reality or fades into off-season folklore, it has already served its purpose by igniting conversation and belief. Fans are talking defense with enthusiasm, not anxiety. They are picturing matchups with confidence, not dread. That emotional shift is powerful, and it shows why certain names carry so much gravity. Surtain's rumored arrival represents more than a transaction. It represents a vision of dominance, control, and trust in preparation. In the world of sports storytelling, that is gold, and it is why this rumor refuses to be ignored, lingering in the air like a promise that something special could be just around the corner. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.